Hey y'all, it's Chatara. I want to show you guys how Illustrator works. Okay, so we're just going to dive right in. So I'm just going to go right here and hit new file. For Illustrator, the size of your document doesn't really matter. It does, but it doesn't. It's not like how it is if you're working in something like Canva or I don't know, Procreate or Photoshop, where like if you zoom in like to the max, you're not going to see like pixels because we don't work with pixels in Illustrator. But you'll see what I mean when we get here though. But I just like to work in 8.5 inches by 11, or I might flip it, and if I hit this right here, it'll do 11 inches by 8.5. And I just like to pick that size because if you get like standard printer paper from a printer, that's the typical size. So it just helps me to kind of like visualize what it is that I need. But everything here is pretty much good though. Ignore this whole section over here. I'm just looking at this part right here to set my document up. Where it says artboards. Artboards pretty much means like the canvas that you're working on. Like, you know, when you open a program and there's just this white space, that's what you're working on. But Illustrator allows you to use different ones or multiple ones. So having two is great if I'm working on something. And I pretty much just leave all this stuff at the default stuff. But if you need to change yours and make yours what mine is, then you can. Okay, so this is just like a good base to start off with. All right, so we gotta first get your screen to look like mine. Okay, all these different panels and stuff on here, I want yours to match mine. So I'm just gonna go right here where it says Window, and then go over to Workspace, and then I'm gonna hit Essentials Classic. Now to reset everything, I'm gonna go back up to Window and then Workspace, and then I'm gonna hit Reset Essentials Classic. Okay, so once you do that, then your panel should look just like this. So I don't want you to get overwhelmed, but pretty much what all this is everything over here on the left side. These are all of your tools that you can use. They also have tools within themselves. So if you look at, for example, this little brush tool right here, there's this little small triangle in the bottom right corner. If you click and hold that down, then you'll see another tool within that. Okay, so Illustrator just did this because you know you don't want to have too many tools over here on the left side, just so that way it won't feel too overwhelming. But same thing with like this rectangle tool. If I click and hold that down, um, you'll see this rounded rectangle tool, the ellipse tool. Ellipse just means circle, you know. So all those little things like that, you'll just see other tools in there. So sometimes you might not see something, but over time you'll remember where some of those things are. So depending on what tool we have enabled over here on the left side, you'll see different options at the very top of the screen or over here on the right side. So the top area, that's called the options bar, I believe. It just shows you different like things. For example, like right now, if I go to like the brush tool, I might see different things asking me about like what the size of my brush is, or you know, just different settings about it. Same thing with my text. If I click on that, it's going to show things over here about what font I want to use, what color, etc., etc. Okay? So, honestly, this is really a crash course of Illustrator. I want you to see how this works. So, just watch me. Don't follow me just yet. But if I hit P on the keyboard, I'm going to activate this pen tool. Also, there are keyboard shortcuts in this. So as I hit them, I'll let you know what they are. So I'm going to hit P on the keyboard. And I have this cursor right here, and it looks like the pen tool. So every time you enable something, you'll see a different cursor, by the way. All right. And then it'll also highlight it over here if you have it enabled. So I'm going to get the pen tool. I'm just going to click a few times. I'm not going to click and drag my mouse. Side note, even though I'm using a stylus, it's the same thing as using the mouse. Okay, so I'm just going to click once, click once, click once, click again. Doesn't matter what shape it is that you make. I guess I'm making a whale of some sort. All right, so this is a shape that I just made. Keep in mind, this is a line over here, and this is a shape. A shape is a closed line, okay? When you get all of your points and then you close it, that's what a shape is, okay? So let me show you what I mean. So if I just keep clicking, even if over time you learn how to curve it and stuff like that, when you go back to that first point right there, when you hover, you see how you see the pen tool and then there's this circle right there? That means you're closing your shape. And I just kind of see it as coming full circle, you know? So when you click on that, that's how you know that your shape is closed. A big thing that beginners do is they might do all of this and they might end up closing it, or they think that they close it, and they might click somewhat right next to it, and they might end up hitting the escape button, or they might click off on something else and they think that their shape is closed, but it's not. So let me show you something else. I'm going to go over here to my black cursor. So this is called the selection tool. So the selection tool is really just used to move things around, resize things. It's similar to this white cursor, but I'll talk about that in a second. So with this black cursor, I'm just going to click right here on my shape. Now you might think, oh, well, there's just a black outline that I made. This black outline right here is called the stroke. That is present. You're right about that. But the color of the shape, like the filled in color, which is called the fill, is white. You just can't tell because the background is white. Okay, so if I was to get this and drag it off of my canvas, now I can see, oh yeah, it is white. Okay, so I guess another vocabulary word for you, this is called the fill, and then this is called the stroke. So you got your fill color and your stroke color. If you wanted to flip the two, if you click right here, then it'll flip them. So you might not even be able to tell that there's a white outline around it, but if I click and drag it over here, then you can tell. Okay, so let's talk about how to change the color of our shape. So if you want to go to the fill color right here, and if you click on the stroke one, notice how it'll kind of jump in front of the fill color. So whichever one you have in the front, that's the one that you're controlling at the time. So if I was to double click on this one, then this color picker will come up, and then you're able to change your color. So I'm going to make mine, I guess, green. Okay. So, and to change the color, you can just move this slider and then also move your circle as well. So I'm just going to do that. Then I'm going to hit OK. So now that's what that is. And then for my stroke color, sometimes you might hear me say the word outline, but again, outline and stroke mean the same thing. But if I double click on that one, I'm going to make mine, I'll just make it red. Okay, now you have a red outline. Now, if you want your outline to be a lot thicker, then you can just have this selected, and either up here at the very top or over here on the right side, you can increase that number. Or if you decrease it, it'll get thinner. And then if you don't want one at all, like you can just make it say 0. So here's mine. You can make it go up as high as you want to. If you were to click on this little thing right here, it'll show you other numbers. Maybe you want to go higher than 100. So you're able to go in there and type in what it is that you want. So if I was to even put 500 and then hit enter on the keyboard, it'll do that. Now it looks crazy, but you know, yeah. So yeah, but if you don't want to have a stroke at all, you can just make this and it can just be 0. And then notice how when you make this 0 right here, you can see that your stroke section right here, it has a white rectangle or a white square and it has a red slash through it. That means that there's no color present. Okay, so again, if I was to get this and drag it off, you don't see a white outline or nothing. Okay, so whenever you're working with your shapes, always pay attention to this to know if something has a fill on it or a stroke on it. Okay, and if I was to get this and flip it, now there's no fill present, and I can show you what that looks like. There's no fill color present. There's just only a stroke color. Okay. All right. So honestly, the only tool you need to know how to use is the pen tool. But again, we'll get to that. All right. So let me zoom in over here to this shape. Okay. Well, it's not really a shape. It's just a line, right? Because it's not closed. So if I was to click on this right here, I have these points here that need to connect. So if you hover on top of these, you'll see what they're called. They're called anchor points, by the way. And they're called anchors because they weigh the line down. They like hold it down in place. So think about like an anchor for like a boat or like a ship or something like that. It keeps it in place because of the weight on it. So same principle, okay? So I might want to get this point here and I might want to snap it here. Cool, it's snapped in place, but it's still open, okay? Even though it looks like it's closed, there are still 2 points sitting on top of each other. You just can't tell because they're on top of each other, okay? But what I like to do is if I want to close this gap, then I'm going to get this tool right here called the direct selection tool. So the direct selection tool allows you to directly select these points that are on your shape, okay? If I was to get this black cursor that we have been using all this time, that's just used to move the entire shape around, or whatever is selected, you can move that around. You can make things bigger or smaller, things like that, okay? Forgot to mention this, but if you want to zoom in or zoom out, hold down Control, then hit minus on the keyboard, or Command if you're on a Mac computer. And then if you want to zoom in, you can just hit the plus key. So Control plus to zoom in, Control minus to zoom out. And then if you want to center like your canvas on the page, you can just hold down Control, then hit 0, and then it'll put the canvas in the center. Okay, I should have said that earlier, but anyways, so I just like to zoom in and do that. Then if you want to kind of pan around the whole page, just hold down the space bar, and while you're holding down the space bar, you'll see this little hand icon, and you can just kind of click and drag across the page. Okay. But anyways, so what you want to do is get this direct selection tool, and I like to just click on my shape once, and then I'll click on my anchor point once in order to select one thing. So if you wanted to move this, then you absolutely can. Now, if you want to select 2 points at once, what you want to do is, like I said, get the direct selection tool, click on the shape first, then I'll just click on the anchor point once, then I'll hold down the shift key, and then I'll click on that other anchor point, right? So you can let go of shift. Now, when you see that they're both like a solid color blue, that's how you can tell that they're both selected. If you look at all the other ones on here, they're just white. Okay, so that's how you can tell that the other ones are not selected. So I have these two selected, and you can clearly tell. Okay. Now, hold on, I just deselected it on accident. There, shift. So now I only got those two selected. Okay, cool. So if you have those two selected, if you look over here in your properties panel, so this panel right here is called the properties panel. If you go down here where it says anchors and look at these three icons, this one right here, it'll show 2 anchor points and there's some dots in between them. That's how you can connect them together. Okay. So right here it says connect selected endpoints. So that's exactly what we're doing right here. So if you click on that, then it'll just join them together. And now the shape is closed. Okay. So I kind of want you to see something else as well. So this whole time you're working on this one, it had a fill color on it, and it was white, as you can see over here. So if I drag it over here, you can see the whole thing is filled in, but there's just this little gap right there. So let me change the color here so you can see what I mean. I'm just going to make it like pink or something. So I'll zoom in. So if you look at this, yeah, it looks like if I was to take the outline off, if I was to take the stroke of this off, you can't tell that it's still an open shape. But if I was to just select it, I can see the blue selection line around it, and it's not closed, right? So I mean, sometimes it doesn't bother some people, but I think depending on what case you're in, then you should close it. But I mean, to me, best practice is to always close it. It just depends on the case. Okay, but I'm going to get this and close it. All right. So there's the, hump that we had to get over for the most part. Now I know what a lot of people are wondering is how do you curve your shapes or curve your lines? Okay, so there's a few ways. I feel like the more advanced way is if you're using the pen tool, you can click, drag, maybe drag it in a certain direction, and these lines that are showing up, that the like balls at the end of the line, the little ball thingies, they are called handles. And when you move the handles, they'll allow you to like tweak your line in different ways. So but I'm just gonna try to still keep drawing here. Okay, so maybe I don't want my next line to be curved, so I can come back over here and click that, and I might want to make it sharp, but that's like the typical way of how this is used, okay, or how people like trace things. So but yeah, so what I want you to see is me tracing something, and as I'm working on it, then you'll learn how it works. Okay, so we're going to get this coloring sheet. I'm just going to delete everything that I have. All right, so I have this Kirby coloring sheet, and if you want to bring something into here, all you got to do is go to whatever website you're on. So I'm just here on Pinterest. I just right clicked it, I hit copy image, and then I came back over here to Illustrator and I just pasted it. So if you want to paste something, you can hold down the control button and then hit V as in Victor, or I believe you can right click and do paste too. Yeah, so you can right click it and then just hit paste if you want to. All right, so I'm gonna click on this. I want to size it down, but don't just get it and size it down like this. You're gonna end up distorting it. Okay, what you want to do is hold down the shift key and the alt key at the same time, and then you can start dragging it down. Now listen. You want to let go of the mouse first and then the keyboard. So I'm going to let go of the mouse and then the keyboard. Okay. Now, if you don't do that, it's going to end up distorting your picture slightly. And if it gets distorted slightly, don't sit there and try to, manually fix it, because you can always tell that you did that. So just hit undo on the keyboard. And if you want to undo something, if you go up here to edit, you'll see where it says undo, and it'll say whatever you just did. So Control Z is the shortcut for that. um, or Command Z. So that's what you would hit on the keyboard, okay? But if you don't like keyboard shortcuts, you can always go up here and hit that button. All right. So I'm just going to trace this right here. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Okay, now you can make yours whatever color you want to. All right. Actually, this is a very good time to talk about color palettes. So let's go over here to this little rectangle tool. So click and hold it down. I'm going to just get the ellipse tool, and I'm going to click and drag out this circle. Now, yours might be doing something weird like this. Okay. If you hold down the shift key as you're dragging it, it's going to make it a perfect circle. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to let go of the mouse first and then the keyboard. If you don't do that, then it'll end up distorting it. So I'm just going to get this, and I'm going to just make it pink. Now, I don't even know if that's like the right shade of pink. Let me like go to Google real quick and just type in something like Kirby hex code or something like that. I don't know. I'm gonna just go right here to Google. I'm gonna just type in Kirby hex code. I'm gonna hit images. Let me just get a picture of Kirby, and I'll just pull the color from it because I'm like, I don't know. Let me get something that's like flat like this. Okay. I'm just gonna right click on that one, do copy image, get this tool, come over here and paste it. Okay. Now this has like gradients in it and stuff, but I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm just worried about like, you know, the general color of it. So I'm gonna get this circle here. I'm going to hit I on the keyboard for the eyedropper tool, okay? If I click right here in this general area, it'll pick up that same shade of pink, all right? So I'm going to duplicate this circle. I'm just trying to get all the colors on here so I don't have to keep guessing what it is. But if you have this circle here with your pink, you can hold down the Alt key on the keyboard, then you can click and drag this and let go of the mouse first, and then the keyboard, okay? I'm going to hit the I key again. Then I'm just going to pick up this for the cheeks. Or the blush, I guess. Same thing. Hold down the Alt key, click and drag the circle. All right, hit the I key. I'm going to pick up this area for the shoe. Hold down the Alt key. Hit I. I'm going to pick up, I think this shade of pink right here is probably the same. It looks about the same as this one. They're slightly different. I'm still going to keep that one though. Okay. And then I'm going to get this one. I'm going to get this kind of, well, actually I don't even need to have like black or blue on there because on the coloring sheet, it's just black. So yeah, we're good. We're all good. We're all good. Okay. Okay. So I have that there. I just like to do this so that way I can have a good color palette on here. I don't have to keep guessing what everything is. Okay. So I'm going to get this right here. I want you guys to also see how the layers panel works in here. So if I go right here on this little icon here, it looks like two pieces of paper kind of on top of each other, or one on top of the other one. You'll see your layers panel right here. So this program, it works in layers similarly to how like Photoshop works or Canva or something like that. So if I open this layer up, notice how everything that I created, like all of my circles, copying, pasting, this image, these shapes over here that I made, all of those are like their own layer within this main layer. Okay. So you know how there's a lot of artists that have issues where they might draw something and they mean to draw that thing on another layer, but they end up meshing it with something else on accident. And they're already too far into the project. Yeah, that can't really happen over here in Illustrator. So that's great, right? So let me just show you what I like to do. So this layer right here that this coloring sheet is on. So right here is called image. I'm just gonna call it coloring sheet. And I like to lock that layer. So that way, as I'm designing, I don't keep dragging it around on accident. Okay. So I'm going to make sure that I have that layer selected. And you'll see the little eye icon. To the right of that, you'll see an empty space. And right here, you want to click just once. And now that layer is locked. So if I try to select this, it's not going anywhere. Okay. By the way, let's hit save. I'm just going to put this on my desktop. And I'll just call it Kirby. Okay. I'm just going to hit OK and just keep it moving. All right, so let me show you how this works. So for a circle, I could get the pen tool and sit here and click and drag and try to make it look nice and all that, but who has time for that, right? Think about this in simple shapes. What shapes do you see on here mainly? Let's go over it. You see, you got this big old circle right here, pretty much. Another circle, another circle, another circle, another circle. You see the theme here. Okay, so we pretty much got that. And then you have these simple lines here. We can easily do that. So I'm just trying to break it down for you so that way you don't get overwhelmed. You have this star here, another star. You can just easily make one, then copy and paste it, and then rotate it, change the size, etc. Okay. All right, so let's dive right into it. I'm gonna just get a circle. I'm gonna click on the ellipse tool. I'm just gonna hold down Shift, click and drag out and make this circle. So it doesn't have to be directly on top of your image if you don't want it to be just yet. So I just like to draw the circle first, then I'll worry about trying to resize it. So you pretty much are just tracing the coloring sheet, and then you might run into the issue where you're like, dang, I can't see through my shape. What should I do? Flip this. Okay, so if I go right here and click it and flip it, now I just have the stroke to worry about. I can hold down the Shift key, click and drag this down. So what I'm paying attention to is my outline. It's my pink line. Is it lining up with the black line here? Okay, so yes, it's overlapping on top of other things, but that's the reason why we have layers. Okay, so I'm gonna hold down Shift, click and drag this way. Now I'm just worrying about my right side, and it does not have to be perfect. Okay, I'm gonna just use the down, and also if you use the arrow keys up, down, left, right, you can kind of nudge the entire shape. So I think that this looks pretty good. Okay, I might make it slightly bigger. I'm gonna hold down Shift and Alt at the same time. I'll put it back where it was. Okay. All right, so I have that there. So if I was to get this and flip it back, you have that. Now, if you want to slightly distort yours and click and drag this down a little bit, that's totally okay. As long as your circle isn't super distorted and it's like this or something where it looks like an oval, then you're okay. All right. So the way that I like to design, I just leave the stroke parts on until I'm finished. Okay, then I'll turn the fills on. All right, so I have that part there. For right now, do not worry about the black outline. We'll get to that part later. I'll just worry about the fill parts first, and we'll just keep it moving. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to get the cheeks area, and I'm not even gonna lie to you, I don't always go to this tool and sit there and drag out a shape each time, because I like to work smarter and not harder. I already have circled on the page, so I'll just hold down the Alt key, click and drag this over, let go of Alt, and then I'll just sit here and resize it the way that it should be. Okay, I'm gonna flip the color, and the keyboard shortcut for this right here, if you kind of just like hover on top of it, you'll see the keyboard shortcut is Shift X. So now you won't see me clicking on this anymore. I'll just hit the button. I was just trying to get you guys used to seeing me use it or seeing me click on it. All right, remember, if you want to zoom in, it's Control plus. So I'm gonna click and drag this down a little bit. Okay, that looks good. I'm gonna zoom out, and remember, you got this shape right here over here. Okay, so you can just hold down Alt, click, drag it that way. All right, let me also talk about something else too. So you might hold down the Alt key. So if this is selected, you might hold down the Alt key and click and drag it this way. Yours might be trying to get like out of line. You'll see these purple lines show up and it'll help you to align it, but sometimes in some cases you still might be a little bit off. To help you drag it across in a straight line, you can do it like what you were normally doing. Click on this, hold down the Alt key, start going ahead and click and drag it over. And if you hold down the Shift key, if you try to drag your mouse like up and down, it'll start like doing this hard snapping, if that makes sense. And then it'll just go straight across like that, and then you can let it go, then it'll work. Okay, so I have that part there. Now let's work on the eyes. I'm going to get this duplicated. Now I want to rotate it. So if you hover your mouse right here on the corner, you'll see this little curved line. So that icon shows you that it's ready to be rotated. So you got to kind of, if you don't see it, just kind of keep hovering around this area, then you'll see it show up. So I'm going to click and hold. See, mine is acting up already. There we go. So right now it's moving in these smaller increments, but if you hold down Shift, it'll not lock, but it'll move in bigger increments, I mean. So yeah, so you can do that. Okay, so I'm just going to make mine go up like this. I'm going to just get the top of the eye to line up with my circle. Click and drag it down. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit. I just want this to be a bit wider. Now you might run into this issue where if you click and drag this side, then you want to go over and click and drag that side. Now doing them one by one is totally okay. But a little hack that I like to do sometimes, if I want to move both sides at the same time, you can hold down the Alt key and then click and drag it outwards like this, and now you see it's moving them both at the same time. Okay, so sometimes I do this. It's not always needed. I got to bring this part down just a little bit. Okay, that looks good. Again, duplicate it, hold down Alt, click and drag it over. I'm going to hold down Shift as I'm doing this. Okay, that looks good. All right, so now we got to work on the ovals in the eyes for the reflection. I'm going to click on this, duplicate it. I'm going to hold down Shift and shrink it. So let me also talk about this. So I know I said that you can hold down Shift and Alt to resize something. This is resizing it from the center, okay? But if you let go of the Alt key and leave the Shift key held down, then it'll resize like this, depending on like what your settings are. But yeah, it just won't resize it from the center. But either one is okay. It's just totally up to you, okay? I'm just gonna hold down Shift in my case. Let go of Shift. I wanna click and drag this way. Click and drag that way. All right. And you know what I should have done? I should have just did the highlight in one and then like the pupil part and then duplicated the whole thing. I had to think about that. Because if I go and get this and try to bring it over, then it might not be exactly like this one. I didn't think about that. So I'm just delete that one. And then I'm going to select these two. If you click and hold your mouse and drag it out this way, you don't have to have both of these all the way inside of your selection box either. As long as your selection box just touches the shapes, then it's going to select them all the way. All right, so hold down Alt, click and drag it this way. Perfect. All right, make sure I save it. Oh wait, I want to move it over just a little bit. Okay, and as you're working, make sure you keep hitting save, because if it does not save, that's your fault, not my fault. Okay, this isn't like perfectly lined up, but it's okay. All right, so we got all those there. Let's work on the mouth area. So I can still get this and duplicate it and try to work with it. Okay, I'm going to bring this part inwards. Bring this down. Click and drag it that way. I think that looks pretty much, that looks okay. Now for the tongue part, we're going to worry about that in a minute. All right, let's hit save. Okay, what other shapes do we see? So we see some ovals in the shoes. So I'm just going to get this, duplicate it. I'm going to just click and drag. Wait, I want to click and drag up this way. Put this here. I'm just trying to get that shoe shape. Drag out this way. Now don't worry if this is in front of your other shapes, because we can send it to the back of everything. That's why we're working in layers, right? Okay. Sometimes I like to just leave this open so I can see where everything is. All right. So this oval looks good there. Maybe rotate it just a little bit. All right. I'm going to hold down Alt, duplicate it. I got to rotate this one some more. No, I can't really see it, so let me do this. I just told you I was going to stop hitting that button. All right. I got to actually change the width of this because there's like a little bit of perspective there, I guess. Because this foot is supposed to feel like it's kind of slightly going a different direction, so... Maybe bring this over this way. Uh-oh. And like as you're doing this, you're kind of thinking as you're doing it. Now, have I ever done this specific coloring sheet? No. All situations are different. Now, notice how I had to keep playing around with this one? If I was to get this width and try to bring it inwards, because I'm trying to like match this side, but it messes up here. So now I got to do something a little bit different. Okay? What I'm going to do is have this shape right here selected. I'm going to go right here and get my direct selection tool. And I'm going to click here one time on this one anchor point. Tap it once and I want to click and drag it down this way. So I'm just kind of playing around with it until it becomes the shape that I want. I'm going to click this one time, click and drag it over here. And I think that looks somewhat okay. Maybe if I click and drag it down here. This one's kind of acting a little bit weird. Click and drag this point this way. Okay, and if you need to customize yours just a little bit more, then you can click and drag these handles inwards or outwards just to get them to line up the way that you want to. Now my outline that I've been working with, like my darker pink color, I don't care if it lines up with the outside of the black outline or the inside or the middle. It doesn't matter. Just keep messing with it until it looks good. That's really all design is about, okay? All right, let me hit save. So let me get this color. I'm going to flip it. This one could have been changed a little bit too. Just going to click and drag that over to the left slightly. Okay, I'm going to save it. All right, so I got that part. Now for the hands. Kirby is just so cute. Like, oh my gosh. Wait, I guess I'll get another circle from over here. All right, so for this part, I'm just going to have it to line up with this outer edge. I'm going to click and drag it down. Click and drag it up. Maybe click and drag this part this way. I'm just worried about this whole outer shape right here. All right. I'm going to click and drag up a little. Maybe about right there. Okay. Click and drag over here. Just keep shaping it until it matches what it is that you want. All right. I'm going to save that one. Okay. So I feel like everything pretty much looks good. So now what I want to do is just turn all of the fill colors on. So I have these two. If you want to select multiple shapes, it works the same way like how we did earlier with the anchor points. You can have one shape selected, but make sure you're on this tool, okay? Make sure you're on the selection tool, the black cursor. So you want to click on one shape, hold down shift, and then you can click on this one as well. Let go of shift, hit the letter I, and then you can pick up this letter. I meant this color right here. There we go. And once you do that, it's not going to have an outline on it at all anymore. So you can see that, okay? Like since this only has a fill color, then when you go to pick that color up, you're only going to be applying a fill color, okay? So now let me go ahead and switch up all of these. So this one needs to also be this color. Now I can't even see what's going on, so I got to find where this one is. So this color is right here at the top, so I'm going to just click it and drag it down. Probably about like right here, I believe. So now like, see, let me show you something. I'm going to hit undo. So I have this shape at the very top. If I hover right here, I'm not able to select any shapes that are behind it. Okay. Notice how when I hover on top of these, I can because they're, you know, they're right there. But if I get this body shape, I'm just going to double click that and type body so I know what it is. And you can go ahead and rename everything if you want to, but most designers don't because, you know, we get a little lazy or we just know where everything is. But yeah, so now if I hover right here, I can select the eyes, the highlights, the mouth area, and all that stuff. Okay. So I'm going to get this one right here. Flip it. That one needs to be black. This one also needs to be black. Okay, now for the highlights in the eyes, I'm just selecting both of them. I'm going to make them white. If you want yours to be like an off-white, that's okay too. I've seen some people do that. A lot of my students love to do that too. But I mean, typically I'll tell people to do like a slightly off-white because pure white can be a bit harsh. Black can be a bit harsh too. So if you want to like go and pick like a dark gray instead, then that's totally okay. But anyways, let me save it. All right, so for the mouth area, I'm just going to make this, flip it. I'm going to make it, well, actually, I want to get this color. It's not going to let me? Oh, come on. It's not going to let me. That's weird. Okay, well, I'll just select it like this. Hit I and pick it up that way. It was trying to embarrass me in front of y'all. All right, so for the shoes, I can select those two, flip it like this. Oh, that looks crazy. Actually, it looks like we're seeing Kirby's feet like coming at us, you know, like they're, but we need them to be behind Kirby. So I'll select these two. So you can see that they're both right here. So I'm going to select that one, hold down shift and select that one as well. Let go of shift. Now I want to click and drag it under the body. Okay. Oh, it's looking good. It's looking good. Okay. So I'm just looking at my coloring sheet on the computer over here. So let's do the star shapes. Okay. So I'm going to click and hold this down, go to the star. And if you click and drag it out like this, then you'll see it kind of goes crazy, right? I'm just going to hold down shift to get this shape here. Okay. Now, just in case yours might not look exactly like mine, double click on, wait, am I lying? Wait, I'm just gonna click one time on the screen. Am I lying? Hold on. Yeah, so if you click one time on the screen, then you should get this window right here. Don't worry too much about like what the radius or the radius 1 or radius 2 is. Just make sure that your points say 5. Okay, because if I was to decrease this, if I was to hit that and try to draw something, it'll do this. It'll have less points. So you get the idea. Okay, but I'm just gonna click once and just make sure this says 5. All right. So I only need to have 1 right now, but I was just showing you that example. But so if I have this here, I want my corners to be rounded. So I guess just in case, I like to get it and I'll duplicate it in case I mess up on something. But I'm just gonna zoom in on that a little bit. Go away. Okay. But what you can do to round your corners, if you have your star shape selected, if you hover right here on one of these blue and white circles, it might either be here or in one of the other corners, or it could be right here. But if you click and slightly drag it inwards, you'll see that it's starting to get rounded. So if I go in like this much and let go, you see it does that. Okay, let me zoom out a little bit. So mine doesn't look exactly like the original. It's kind of bothering me. Hold on. Maybe about like right there. So we just rounded the corners of like the star, but not like the inner corners, like right here. So you see how this part is rounded on Kirby's. So on this one, I'm just gonna click and drag it. I think I've got to drag it outwards a little bit. Sometimes I don't know until I see it. Yeah, so yeah, okay. And I'm just eyeballing it. Like you don't have to do it this same exact way. And again, as an illustrator, I like to duplicate it in case I mess up on something. So I'll just put it about here. I'm gonna slightly rotate it. Then if you want to make it bigger, hold down shift and I'm gonna hold down shift and alt this time and make it bigger like this. Okay. So as I'm designing, sometimes I get annoyed because the bounding box around it, like the selection box, is not exactly like the same size as my shape. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Like if I was to get this mouth area and have that selected, you see the bounding box around it, the square around it, it's like fitting to the shape. But I wanted to do it to this one too. But the star shapes and just like, shapes that have a lot of like extra stuff to them, you got to hit this button right here where it says expand shape. I don't know how to explain it, but if you hit that, it'll like expand the shape and it just lets Illustrator know that that's the shape. There's no like empty space like how it was before. I don't know how to explain it, but you get the idea. Okay, so I'm going to hold down Alt, click and drag to duplicate this one, rotate it slightly. Okay. That looks decent. Yeah, that looks pretty good there. Duplicate again. I want to get like the exact Kirby yellow as well. So let me like look that up. I'm going to type in Kirby yellow star on Google and see what comes up. Okay. Images. Let's get... Ooh, I want something that's like... I want a vector image. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm just being extra right now. This one's fine. Again, it has gradients in it, but we're not talking about gradients right now. Okay, so I got this. All right, so I'm just going to, again, yeah, this has a lot of colors in it, but it's okay. I'm going to select all 3 of these, hit I on the keyboard, and I'm going to, I guess I'll get like right here. That looks good. All right, cool. Okay, so I have that there. And if you want to just say that you're done with the stars, all you really need to do is just select them all. And then you can add a like a black stroke around them. Wait, hold on. Oh, sometimes it'll do that. Like, let me show you what I just did. Sometimes if there's no stroke on your shape, if you double click here and then just like try to drag it to a certain color, like black, purple, whatever, and hit OK, then it'll turn white. And it does that because for some reason Illustrator wants you to like make the stroke thicker first and then add a color. So it's just a thing. I don't know. Let me save it. Okay. I don't think I said this, but if you want to save, you can hit down the control button, then hit S as in snake, or you can hit Command S. And if you don't know what I mean, you can go to File, and then you can hit Save, and it'll show up right there. All right. So let me go back over here to my Layers panel. So as I'm working, Sometimes I like to just hide my original thing that I'm tracing, like a sketch or whatever I might be using. So in this case, we're using the coloring sheet. So I'm going to click right here in the little eyeball icon, and now you can see how mine looks without the coloring sheet. That looks good. I'm proud of us. I'm so proud of us. Okay. But yeah, so we got that part down, and I did that because I wanted you to see how thick the outlines were around the stars. Okay. Do we have another star? Yes, we got one right here. Ooh. Make it a little bit smaller. Rotate it. Okay, that looks good right there. All right, let me save it. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to work on like the tongue, like Kirby's tongue area. So we got like the background part of the mouth, but let me just get the body part. I'm going to flip that so we can see through it. Actually, I'm going to flip everything just so that way we can see. It'll just make it a whole lot easier. Okay. And if you want to like go over here and just actually hide these layers, then you can. And by that, I have the body selected here and the feet. So if you want to hide them that way, that's okay too. The way that I work, I always have a lot of lines on the page, and then I'm just able to see through it. But yeah, so I have this here. I'm gonna flip the outline. Now what I gotta do is worry about working with the tongue area. So you can use the pen tool if you want to. Like if I was to get the pen tool, I'm just gonna hit P on the keyboard. I'm gonna actually make my outline a different color so I can see it better. Okay, so I can click maybe like about right here, and then I'm gonna click here and just go up, and then it's gonna try to go that way, but what I like to do is I'll click back on this anchor point. Okay, so now it's gonna give me a sharp or a straight line. I'll click here, drag it that way. Again, it's trying to curve it. It's not too bad if it tries to curve it. I can always fix it. Now you want to hover right there and you see the little circle. So now you can click to close it. Now your job is to clean up this line right here. Okay, so I'm going to just go right here to direct selection tool, kind of click and drag this up a little bit, move the handles. Okay, and there's other ways of doing this. There's like more keyboard shortcuts that you can do. For example, if I'm working with the pen tool, if I want to select a certain point and move it, I can hold down the control button, and you see my cursor will like, you know, it'll start looking just like the direct selection tool. So yeah, but I just didn't want to I didn't want to move that fast for you guys. Okay, so for the tongue area, what color is Kirby's tongue? Is it just like the color of his body? I think. So I'm just gonna click on this, hit the eye tool, click here, and then for the background part of the tongue, like the black area, I'm just going to flip that back so we can see. So when you're doing that, just make sure that your make sure that the tongue layer is on top of the mouth layer. You see what I'm saying? So if I go here and just name this one tongue you, there we go. Come on, girl. All right, then if I get this part, I'll just name that mouth. Then you can see the tongue area is a lot. I spelled that wrong. Oh my goodness. Tongue. That's how you spell it. And I said it out loud. Like, what in the world? But yeah, it can be all the way up here, or it can be all the way like, you know, right above it. Either way is fine. Okay. Let me go ahead and hide the coloring sheet. So you see how there's like this odd, you know, like gap right here. And you might want it to, you know, be pretty much just like how it was in the coloring sheet. Let me pull it up. Okay, so if you look at the coloring sheet, on here, there is, hold on, sorry. On here, there is like this gap right here. If you want that, then, I mean, there's a few ways of doing it. I guess you could just kind of sit here and kind of eyeball it and just make it look about even on all sides like that. But I'm not even gonna lie to you. Sometimes I get lazy and I'll like get a circle, like just this shape right here. I'm gonna hit copy on the keyboard. So, or I guess you can, you know, hold down the Alt key and do this, right? You can get it and have it to be like right on top of it. And I'm going to flip it, right? And so this copy that I made is right here. I'm just gonna call this mouth outline. Okay, so if I get that and put it on top of the tongue layer, and if I increase the stroke, it can kind of do that, and it'll like make it look even on both sides. So you'll see what I mean if I change this color. Hold on. So if I was to select this, if I made it something like green or something, hold on, it's tweaking. There we go. So you see what I'm saying? Like it kind of like it sits on top of it, so you can't even tell, you know, that there's something else going on there. But I still kind of feel like this might be not aligned horizontally, and this is me getting real picky. But I like to go up here where my rulers are, and if you don't have these, you can just go up to View and then hit Rulers, and it'll say Show Rulers on your end. Okay, so when the ruler comes up, you can just hover your mouse on top of the ruler like this and click and drag it down. I just wanted to line up with one side of my of the tongue area. So you can either have it to be over here or have it to be over there. It doesn't really matter. So I'm going to put mine here. And if I click on the tongue shape, and then if I hit the direct selection tool, and the keyboard shortcut for that is A, by the way. If you hover on top of something, it'll show you on the right side of it. So that one's A, and then this one's V, as in Victor. But yeah, so if I have the tongue selected, and then this anchor point, I can move it along this line. Or maybe yours probably was too high, or maybe it was too low. But if you have it to snap right onto that line, it'll help you to make it, you know, balanced. But I think in my case, I just probably needed to move this handle right here. And that's the purple line that I needed right there to show me that it was, you know, centered. Okay, so even though my tongue area, I have more space showing over here than over there, but it still looks good in my opinion. Okay, but yeah, so there's that. I'm gonna double click here. I'm gonna hit that, and all these here. So there are multiple parts like this, but it all works. I always tell my students that Illustrator is just an illusion. There's a lot of like little small pieces, just like how I did there, but you know, there's really no right or wrong way to do it. I feel like maybe unless you're trying to like animate, then yeah, you need to layer everything, you know, and make it organized and group stuff, etc., etc. Okay, but if you're just trying to make it look cute, it don't even matter. Okay, so let me make the body and all that stuff back visible. Okay, make the coloring sheet visible. All right, so I want to work on the party hat now. So I'm just, oh, sorry, I hit the microphone. But the tongue don't look right. Am I tripping? Isn't the tongue supposed to be like this color? It's like a little bit darker, right? Like that? That looks right. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see later. Okay, but let's work on the party hat. So let me just get the body. I'm going to flip that. All right, so for the party hat, what basic shape do you see? A triangle, right? And some rectangles, okay? So if you go over here, you can get the polygon tool and then click one time, and then you can put 3 right here, and then you can get a, you know, you could get a triangle and bring it down like this and rotate it and resize it. But listen, there are only 3 points you need to work with because it's a triangle, right? I can just easily get the pen tool. Also, as I'm teaching you Illustrator, you will never see me use this tool, the curvature tool. It's newer. I'm an OG Illustrator user. I ain't never like using it. I'm okay. Anyways, what you could do is click here one time, click here one time, click here one time, and then close it. And then just like, you know, make it curved. But low key, I'm going to hold the mouse here. And I'm going to click and drag it down this way to curve it. Okay. So to me, that's a lot quicker than getting the polygon tool, making it have 3 sides. I ain't got time. Okay. So I have this part here. I don't know what color Kirby's party hat should be. Yo, let's use color theory. Let's use color theory. How about this? I'm going to get this main pink color that Kirby has, right? I'm just going to duplicate it. If you go over here where, I forgot what it's called, the color guide. So if you click on the color guide, and if you don't see it, just go up to window, then you can just hit color guide and it'll come up. Okay. So, the color guide is cool because it uses color theory and it will suggest color harmonies to you. So that way, you know what colors look good together. So you don't have to like sit there. You don't have to sit like in this thing and keep moving things around and figure out what works best. Okay. Cause who got time? All right. So, I'm just going to go over here to the little color guide, make sure that I have my shape select it with the color that's on it. So all these look great together. They show you all the shades and tints for it. I want to use a complementary color, like green. Well, no, never mind. And you know what's crazy? Look at the left complementary colors, or left complement colors. Sorry, I can't read. Or even like the monochromatic colors. Those use color theory. Like these were already the colors that they were using for Kirby. So you see what I'm saying? So these aren't just random shades of pink. They work well together. Okay. But yeah. So let's see. I don't know what I want to use. I did want to have some kind of blue, something like this. Yes, triadic colors. I already had that selected, I think. But yeah, I want to get this one. So I'm just going to click on that once. I want to get this. Hit the letter I. Click on this. All right, so I got that there. Let me just go ahead and flip it though, because I got to do my lines on here. So personally, I want to have like the background to be blue, and then I want the stripes to be like, I don't know, I want to do like orange or something like that. Like, let me see. I don't know what colors will look good with it. Yeah, something like a soft, like, yeah, yeah, that looks good. That looks good. Okay, so at least I think they look good right here. I don't know if it's gonna look good with everything else, but we'll see. We'll see. So I want to have. Let's see. I'm gonna get my pen tool. I'm gonna click here one time, and I'm gonna. Am I thinking correctly? Yeah. I'm gonna click here, but I want to make sure I have my point on the line. So I'm gonna click there. I'm gonna click here. I'm gonna click, but you got to make sure that your line is aligned with the coloring sheet. Okay. All right. I'll click here and close that. And I'm not working on this because this up here is going to be blue. I'm just adding a rectangle on top. Like this is all I'm adding. Okay. So let me show you what I mean. So if I get this blue here and get my rectangle here, like that's what I'm trying to do. Okay, so if I was to get this and duplicate it, that's what I'm doing. Okay? All right, so let me go back. So I have my blue triangle here. I have this rectangle here. So I close that shape. I'm going to get the pen tool again. Now I'm not working on this one. I'm working on this one. Okay? So I'm going to click here. Go up here. Come down here. Now this line is slightly curved. So I'm going to click and hold, then drag. Kind of like this. And this is trying to curve it, and I want it to fix itself. So I'm going to click back on that point, click over here. Now I'm good. So now, again, I'm not going to work on this next one. I'm going to work on the next one. I'm going to click here. This line is a little bit curved, so I want to click and hold slightly, maybe something like that. It's trying to curve it. I don't want it to do that, so I want to click here. I'm going to click here. Maybe come about like right there, and then close it. Okay, so I know there's all these lines, but you'll get it in a second. Okay, so I'm going to get this shape here. Again, as you're working, you'll have to keep going back and forth between the pen tool and the selection tool, and even the direct selection tool. So it's completely normal. Okay. All right, so I have this shape here. I'm going to get the letter I, click on this, hit V to bring up the selection tool. Click here, hit that letter I. Click here. Oh, wait, I didn't select it. There we go. Hit I, select this. Click here, hit I, select this. Okay, now if I go back up here and switch these back, it does that. See the vision? Yeah, okay. So now I just got to bring this star on top. So my layers panel, I can get this star. And I don't think I was direct about this, but if you have something out here selected, you can tell that it's selected because you'll see this blue like square next to it, letting you know that it's selected. Okay, so I can just click and move this all the way up. So now it's in front of that. I'm gonna hit save. Okay, so are we done? Oh, we're almost done. I was like, wait a second. Okay, so now we gotta do the whole like black outline thing. So let me just hide my coloring sheet layer. Okay, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna flip it back. Y'all, it looks so good. I'm so proud of us. So, I mean, if you want to get yours and leave it like that, I mean, friend, you can if you want to. Like, if I was to get all this and take off the black outline. You know, I'm gonna just put these to the side. If you want to leave it like that, you can. Okay. I'm gonna just hit save. Actually, let's do something. Let's do something. Hold down Shift on the keyboard and then hit O as in Oscar. All right. And then you'll see this right here. This is showing you that your artboard is selected. Okay. So sometimes I might be working on something and I want to add a new artboard like this. Okay. Let me hit undo because that's not what I wanted to do. But yeah, but you can do that. If you want to move your artboard around, then you can. This comes really in handy when you're making multiple designs for someone, like specifically for like social media posts when I'm working on them, or like posters in different sizes or something like that. I might have a landscape post, I might have a portrait post. For Instagram, you might have like a story post, a banner, you know, and they're like all the same design. You just got to keep redesigning them. So it's easy if you have everything on the page already. Okay. But what I'm going to do for mine is I'm going to make one that has a black outline and then another one that doesn't have a black outline. So we already did one that does not have the black outline. But what we're going to do is, so let me start over. Okay. So if you just hold down Shift and then hit O, this is the artboard tool right here. So you can hold down the Alt key on your keyboard and then just kind of hover on top of the artboard that you have your Kirby on. You want to click and drag down and then you can let go. All right, just like this. Now it'll move anything that's even barely touching this artboard, okay? And by that, this is what I mean. If I had this over here and it was like kind of barely touching it, then if I went to go and try to duplicate this, then it's going to bring that as well. Okay, so that's the reason why I tried to make sure that I pushed this all the way over there. Okay, so so now I'm just gonna work on this one down here. Let me make sure I save. Okay, all right, I'm gonna zoom in. So if I want to work on having my outline, I want to just bring up my coloring sheet back up on my other screen. Okay, because I'm trying to see like where they need to be at. Okay, so I've noticed that this part right here, it needs to be touching Kirby's head. If you look at this, you can kind of see how it's sitting on that curve, and I didn't do that in mine. So I'm going to get the direct selection tool right here. I'm going to click this anchor point one time. Now I'm going to click and drag it down just so that way it touches Kirby's head. Perfect. Now notice how when I did that, it kind of shifted everything else, and you want these points to be touching the line for the party hat, right? So if I get this, and you could try to move them both down at the same time, but they're not going to line up, I don't think. Yeah, see, this one is good, but this one isn't. So I'm just going to get that and drag it up. Now, if you want to click on one and then get your pen tool, if you want to like try to curve it, then what you could do, I'm trying to see if I want to show you the easy way or the hard way. I'm going to show you the hard way. I want the pen tool. I have this anchor point selected. If you hold down the Alt key, you'll see this icon come up. This helps you to convert that anchor point to something else, and it's just the same thing as this right here. But if I click and drag it this way, it's going to allow me to play with the handles. So I know it's affecting the one on the right side, but don't worry about it. Only focus on the one on the left side for right now. Okay, so I have that there. Now if I want to drag this one back in, I can get I can just use the direct selection tool and click and drag this anchor point in. It's going to try to move the one on the left, but just it's finicky. Just keep working with it. Okay? So there we go. All right? And that's completely normal. I'm going to do it again over here just so that way you understand what I was saying. I'm going to click on this anchor point here. I'm going to click and drag it down to snap onto the party hat. I still have this gap in between here. Now this one, sometimes I'll like push it away, then I'll bring it back so that way I can see. All right, there's still a gap here, so what you can do is click on the anchor point one time. Make sure you're on the direct selection tool, okay? Now this anchor point is all the way out here. If I want to get the pen tool and hold down the Alt key and convert this, I'm able to control the line on the left side. Okay. And I don't know how bad it messed up the line on the right. And this actually still looks fine to me, so I'm okay with it. All right, I still see a slight gap right here. I'm going to get the direct selection tool, click my shape one time, click the anchor point one time, click and drag it down. And you know what? I'm kind of annoyed because I messed up the party hat again. So I'm going to just hit undo. Okay, here's another little cheat code. If you get the pen tool and hover on top of the shape that you already selected, let me start over so you see what I'm saying. I have my party hat selected, right? If I get the pen tool and hover on top of the line right here, I can add a point. So remember what I said these points do. They're anchor points, so they hold the line down. So remember how I was saying how part of the line can be affected when you're only trying to change one part. That's when you should be adding another anchor point. If you don't want something to move, then add an anchor point, okay? If you don't want something to move, add an anchor point, okay? So I'm going to get an anchor point. I'll just put it maybe about right here. Right now, I'm guessing. I don't know how it's going to look, okay? I'm going to hit A to bring up my direct selection tool. I'm going to click here on my anchor point once. Click and bring it down. Okay, it didn't mess this up too bad. All right, now I see it's, oh snap, what's going on? Okay, so I see in this area, it didn't mess up my line too bad, but I also see there's like this weird curve right here. I'm going to get that. Let me hit this once and then hit this. Oh, never mind, abort mission. Never mind. I'm going to just probably try to change this left side to get it to match everything else. And then if you still have like a little bit of that blue showing through, this is me being really, really tedious. But if you have a little bit of that blue showing through, you can also get the pen tool. Wait, hold on, let me start over. You can also have this shape right here selected and then get the pen tool and hover and add a point. Get your direct selection tool. You got to really, really, really zoom in on this to see it. So here's the new point that I added. I like to just click it. I'm going to drag it away once, and I'm going to bring it back and make it snap onto the party hat. All right, so now I don't see any blue gaps. I see it slightly over here, like barely right here. But all that takes is just you going in there and, you know, tweaking the line and stuff. But, I mean, from a distance, it don't matter. All right, so now let's go ahead and work on the, what's it called? The black outline. I think I should go and start grouping things together. So I'm going to get, am I lying? Let me get this picture. Because I'm like scared I'm going to end up messing it up. Okay, so I'm going to get this and just make it smaller. Just so that way I have my reference. I just want to have it on the screen so I can see. And so you guys can see as well. All right. So we know that for all of these, this needs to be moved over a little bit. Okay, so we know that for all of these, the outline can be black. I'm going to make it just like complete black. If you go like up in between here or something, it won't be black. But if you have the 6 zeros going across, and that's pure black. Okay, so I'm going to do that. The thickness of yours, it doesn't matter. Just play with it until you like the way it looks. I might do 3. All right, now for the hat, notice how the lines on the like on the hat, like they're thinner. So I'm going to just select these 3. I'm going to give those black. And if it goes over the line, like up the hat, don't worry about it. We'll fix it soon. Okay, let's see what I want to do. I'll keep those maybe about here. For the blue part, I'm going to make that 3, just like how it is for the stars. It looks very weird right now, but I'll fix it in a minute. Okay, and then for the hands, I'm going to make that 3 as well. Okay, now you can see this is not looking right, but bear with me. Okay, I'm going to get this. I'm going to make it 3. Come on. I might want to make it thicker. Let's do 6. All right, we'll do 6 for all of those, and then even for like the blue on the hat, I'll do 6 with that as well. Okay, that looks good. Again, we'll fix the overlapping part in a minute. Let's see, for the shoes, I'm going to do 6 for that as well. All right, make sure I'm hitting save. All right, let's see, what else do I want to do? So the parts where the hands are, I am going to have to like either cut the shape and open it up, or I can finesse it. So let me show you how I like to finesse it, okay? So a lot of people who are like watching this might not agree, but fuck them. Anyways, what we're gonna do is get this circle. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna get this circle. I just want you to see something. If I get this circle and draw it out, I'm gonna get the letter I. I'm gonna pick up this color. I'm gonna take off the stroke. Okay. So now I just have this pink color here. Watch this. If I have two colors that are the same, or two shapes that are the same color, if I overlap this, you can't even tell that they're separate shapes. Okay? So that's how I like to finesse stuff sometimes. All right? So in this case, I mean, I won't really be able to do it, but it depends on how far you want to go with this. Okay? So if I get this, let me bring up my coloring sheet so I can like trace it better. I'm gonna click on this. Let me actually get this. I'm going to let me. I don't want to like get this and flip the colors. I just want to lower the opacity. So if you have this shape, the body shape selected, and go to opacity and lower it, you can see through it a little bit, like that. Oh wait, I don't have the coloring sheet on this layer. It's okay. It's okay. Never mind. Abort mission. Abort mission. So I'll just have to like look at the reference and eyeball it. But anyways, really though, this and this is supposed to be behind the body. I was tripping. So these two should be behind the body. Okay, so that looks good. But then this shape that I was talking about here, you can use that to like, you know, cut in between there. But I'm gonna show you how you can clean it up though. Let me get this and make it smaller so you can see. Okay, so really you can just like kind of play around like with this shape. You don't have to use a circle to cut in between there. You can get the pen tool and just make a custom shape. You can get a rectangle, whatever you want to do, right? But what I want to do is I'm thinking. This is so advanced. Well, not so advanced, but just watch. I can get this and get the pen tool. I'm going to hover, and I have the body shape selected, okay? I can get the pen tool. I can click about like right here, and I'm going to add a point. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm just going to delete my circle. And if you want to keep the circles and then just save it like that and then just say that you're done, that's fine, but just watch. Okay. Again, I have the body selected. I got the pen tool. I'm going to just click in between here and add a point. Now I'm going to get the direct selection tool. I'm going to select, you know, one of those points that you just made. Now, oh wait, I'm also lying. Let me get another point. I'm going to put it right next to there. I'm going to put it about, maybe about like right here. Okay. And then on this side, I'll add another one, probably about like right here. So it depends on where you want your line to stop at. You'll see what I mean in a second. So this middle one, I'll just select that one with the direct selection tool, and I'll hit delete. Now it has a gap. Crazy, right? Now in between here, click there, hit the, oh wait, girl, what happened? I'll click here, hit delete. Oh, I know why. Because it's like seeing it as separate shapes. I forgot. Because I was sitting here panicking like, what's going on? But yeah, so that's how that works. So if you want to kind of try to finesse it and not have this big gap, let me hit, should I hit undo? I'm going to hit undo actually. You could have your body selected and then hit copy. That's Control C or Command C. Okay, so you got it copied. We got that on the back burner. Okay, I'm gonna go back and do the same thing that I just did earlier. I'm gonna click this and hit delete. I'm gonna click this and hit delete. Now remember, we still have that full body shape copied. Okay, I can go right here and hit edit and then paste in back, and now it's right there. And this is just a copy. Oh snap! Hold on. Let me undo that. Edit, paste in back. Okay, so this is just a copy that I have right here. Okay, so on that copy, and the copy is selected, I can just hide the what's it called, hide the stroke on it, so that way it's only the pink part that's showing through. Okay, so like, you see what I'm saying? So a lot of people might not even agree with that, but fuck them, I still got the job done. Okay, now you can stop here if you want to. If you want to bring part of like the black lines down a little bit, you can just get the direct selection tool, click on your body shape that's, you know, on top. Obviously you can click and drag that down, and then obviously you'll have to like go back up in here and kind of just fix the line a little bit, but it's nothing too crazy. Okay, same thing here. And actually I'm getting annoyed with that, so I'll just get the pen tool, add a point here so it won't move as much, and click here and just kind of hover and make it snap into place the way I want it to. Okay, and if you get like some weird warpness right there, just keep messing around with it until it looks good. Okay, but I think I'm gonna leave mine probably about like right there. Okay, so again, if you want to stop here, you can, but sometimes I like to have my lines to be like tapered off slightly. Ooh, I see a little gap right here. Let me fix that. And you know what? Sometimes I won't even mess with the black outline part. I'll just mess with like the pink body part in the background, you know, like all of that part. I'll get the pen tool and I'll just like add some random points on it. Then I'll get the direct selection tool, get that, bring it down kind of behind the black line. Oh, snap. To kind of disguise it. Because like I said earlier, Illustrator is just an illusion. Okay, as long as it looks good, that's all that matters. Unless you're trying to animate. Okay, but yeah, so there's that. So I want to kind of taper my lines off a little bit. So what I'm going to do is get the selection tool. I get the names mixed up sometimes. All right, I'm going to have this shape up here. I'm going to have that selected. Right here where it says, I don't know what the word is for it, but this section right here, you want this to be on basic. And then this one where it says uniform, you want that one to be on this one. So this already comes on Illustrator by default. So if you click on that one, it'll taper your lines off. Okay. So if you increase this, it'll make your line thicker out here. And then it's, you know, tapered off towards the end. Okay. So that looks good on this side. Oh my goodness. Okay. Same thing here. Click on that one, make sure this says basic, and then you can click on this one. Then it'll kind of taper your lines off a little bit. Get this and try to make it look good. I'm annoyed with this shape here, with the body part. I'm just gonna do what I did earlier. I'm gonna add some points, and I'm just gonna move it. I don't know. My eyes are like crossing. What in the world? There we go. Oh, wait. I still see a little bit of a gap. There we go. Okay. Like, the points are so small. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a way you can make them bigger, but I don't know. I'll look it up one of these days. All right, but that looks good. It's kind of like warped over here a little bit, but I'm low-key, like, not even caring about it. Okay, so I have that part there. But I just want to make sure that you guys realize that this is a shape. This is a shape, and then this is a shape. Okay, but when you put them on top of each other, no one can tell. All right, but I want you to see another way of making your lines like tapered off or like, you know, thicker or thinner. I'm just going to get the pen tool real quick. I'm just going to make a line like this. I'm not going to have a fill on it. I'm going to take, even though you don't see the fill on this line, lines can still have fills, just to let you know. All right, so I have this line here. So if I have the line selected and go up here and make sure it says basic, I could go here and change it to, you know, one of these things here to taper the line off on the ends. You know, these are like some cool presets, right? But if you want to customize yours, then what you can do is hold down shift on the keyboard, then hit W as in water. I don't know. If you hover on the line, you'll get this little plus sign and you'll see this dot on here. This is you deciding on what point you want to make your line thicker or thinner, or like, you know, more wide or more narrow. Okay, so if I was to hover here and click and hold and drag outwards, it'll make it wider. Okay, or I can go back in and hover on this one and drag it in. On this side, I can click and make it a lot wider. Maybe I want this part to be a bit more thin. Maybe I want to come back in here and make this part thinner. Okay, but you can do these and like have some different custom ones in here and download them and all that, and you know, it just gives you a lot more like variation with your line weights whenever you're drawing. Okay, all right, so there's that. I'm just delete that. But if you wanted to do it up here, then what you could do is just have this selected, hold down shift, hit W, and you can just drag this out and make it a bit wider. So that's all I was saying. Okay, so that's how you would apply it in real life. Okay. So everything down here looks great. Now I'm going to focus back on the hat. So remember the thing that we did with the circle, like with the mouth area, where I have like this piece here, and then what's going on right there? Oh, hold on, wait. Oh, the cheeks. Bro, how we forgot about the cheeks? Oh, I'm so sorry, Kirby. I forgot about your blush. I forgot about your blush. The blush was what? This color? Right? And I was thinking that was just the color for the tongue. Or is it this? Girl, I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, so because I was like, what in the world is that line? Okay, but yeah, so remember how, hold on, I just messed it up. Hold on. Let me get this and bring it back. Bring it back. Come on. There we go. I'll just do that. But anyways, like I was saying, remember how I said for the mouth, it's this, and it's also this piece, and then it's also this piece. And I said that I only added this top part so that way around the edges it would look even. Personally, I would do the same thing for the party hat. Okay, I mean, and it's because it's a lot quicker. If I was to get these, the rectangles, I can get the direct selection tool and get these and like make them, snap. Well, they kind of don't snap to the edge for real. Like it will, but it won't. I could do that. It's probably quicker and less confusing. But I don't know. I can get a little bit lazy with stuff like that. So I'm gonna click this, drag it. That looks good. See, I like the small stuff like that. It'll start bothering me. See, I'm already irritated. But I mean, if you want to go in there and get the points and line them up and make them look good, you can. You surely can. But I like to work smarter and not harder. So I'll just get this doggone blue party hat. I'm going to hit copy on the keyboard. So I'm hitting Control C. And then I'm going to do paste in. Hold on, wait. I'm going to do paste in front. Paste in front. I know the keyboard shortcut, but I'm just doing it so that way y'all can see me hit it. So yeah, it's in the front, but where is it? I want to get that. This is the hat. Copy. And I have the original right here, but I have my shapes in front of it. You see what I'm saying? So I need this thick outline part to be in front of everything. I'm going to hide the fill color on it. And now all that looks clean. Okay, so it works the same way like how I did with the mouth area. So I'm going to break it apart. I want to get this. That's one shape. Then you also have this one. And then, hold on. Let me redo that because I think I'm being a little confusing. Okay, but yeah, so you have this. Come on, girl. Okay, so you have this thick outline over here. Then you got this one with the outline. Then you also have the stripes in between. Okay, so it's like, you just sandwich it to make it look right. All right, let me hit save and zoom out. Girl, that looks good. Okay, I think I'm done. Am I done? I think I might want to make the outlines on the rectangles just a little bit thicker. Just a little bit thicker. Yeah, there we go. All right, I think that look good, y'all. That look good. If I had to change something, I might make the outline like around this part, just on this bottom shape. I might make it a little bit, wider, but I think everything else looks good though. So, want to get all this, move it down a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to export it, okay? Because why would I show you how to make some in Illustrator if you don't know how to put it somewhere, okay? So, I'm going to just get this and bring it down a little bit. All right, because that was touching it. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to select all this. I like to get everything and just group it together. So I think mine already is. I think I just did it on accident, not even showing you how to do it. Okay, so right now everything is like all individual pieces, right? But if you want to group it all together, just get your selection tool, click and drag out like this to select everything. Then you want to hold down, hold on, I forgot the keyboard shortcut. Is it Shift G or Control G? It's Control G or Command G, either one, whether you're on a Mac or, Windows computer. But yeah, so now if you try to move everything, it'll just stay together like this. So there's like 3 ways to export something. So I would just say this. If you want to export something, it depends on where you're trying to export it. Or like, like what your purpose is. Like, for instance, if you want this to be transparent and like not have a background, right? then you want it to be a PNG. Okay. Now, it also, like I said, it depends on where you're gonna put it at. Like if you're making story stickers or something like that for like Instagram or Facebook or something like that, then this doesn't need to be 50 inches by 50 inches. Okay. This a story post is like what 1080 pixels by 1920 pixels. Like, anyways, so it depends on where you want to put it at. For example, if I want this to be, you have a you have like a left chest design on a shirt, the width for that probably needs to be like 4 inches or something. So if you have this all grouped together, and then you go over here to your properties panel, pay attention to your width and height. Okay, if yours is in a different unit of measurement, then you can go up here to your ruler and right click on it and change it. Then it'll change everything over here. So when if I'm working on something for like social media or something like for screens, like for like someone's website, for like banners or something like that, YouTube stuff, whatever, then I'll work in pixels. But if I'm working in inches, that's something that's going to be printed in real life. If it's going to be like packaging for something or shirt designs or a poster or something like that, then that's when you'll work in inches. But yeah, so I'm just going to put this in inches. I'm going to change this, make sure that this thing right here is turned on, so that way your proportions will, constrain and not do this. Instead, it'll like, keep it together. But yeah, I'm just going to make mine. I'll put it in 4 inches. So I'll just hit 4, and then the height will automatically, do what it needs to do. So now when you're ready to export it, there's a few ways to export, like I said earlier. Sometimes I just like to click and drag this over here. Okay. I might even come right here and I'll name it. I'll just put Kirby coloring sheet. Okay. I'll hit enter. And then like this already is picking up that it's going to be 4 inches when you go to export it. The whole thing about PPI, pixels per inch, that's a whole nother lesson. It's just telling you like how many pixels per inch there will be when it's printed somewhere. So yeah. Suffix, you can like name it something. So maybe I can call it, Kirby dash, I don't know, Kirby coloring dash April or something like that, et cetera, et cetera. But anyways, I don't want to like give you too much information, but I can just hit export. Okay. It'll ask you what folder you want to put it in. I'm just going to put mine, on my desktop, I guess. I'll hit select folder, and now it's on my desktop. So if I go over here to my desktop, and then if I go over here, I can see that it's clearly right there. Now on my computer, if you have this like, gray like background and stuff, that means it is transparent. So there's like not a white screen or black screen or anything behind it. So, but yeah, that's how you do it, y'all. Okay. So I hope that this Illustrator tutorial helped you. There's a whole lot of other tools in here. Honestly, I've been using this program for over 10 years. And I don't even use all these. Like, who's gonna come into Illustrator to make a bar graph? Like, you know what I'm saying? So there are other things in here, but we'll get to that another day. But all you really got to know how to use in Illustrator is just the selection tool, the direct selection tool, and the pen tool, and the shape tool. And I guess the artboard tool. But that's about it. And how to, zoom in, zoom out, pan across the screen, stuff like that. But that's about it, girl, or boy, or person. Okay. But if y'all have any other questions, just let me know. If you want me to go through and like do another coloring sheet, I look at these all day on Pinterest, and I just like, I really do it for fun. But if you have any questions, just let me know. If you want me to do a certain coloring sheet, send it to me. I do pretty much all things graphic design, so this is like not even half of what I can do, not even a quarter of what I can do. Okay, so I'll see y'all next one. Bye. If I can get off the video. All right, okay, bye this time.